So we're going to start with drawing what we see. And to do that, to make it easier, we need a grid. So we just make one. These curls right here seem to be something that we can get to. So I'm going to select a line, start a line here, and get it on a new layer, and fill it. And I think I can work with 2 curls, or a curl and a half. Let's go with 2 curls. Fill. So what I'm trying to do is make it so that I'm working with smaller pictures. And this, like this block right here, could be a smaller picture. Like this right here, you can see there's 4 curls in the block. It's easier to draw a small picture like this and then have that same thing over here, and you draw that, and you draw what's there, and you draw what's there. You just draw as you see it in each picture. You don't have this helps you so that you don't have to draw everything and try to find every detail. It's, even though this picture is blurry, we can actually make it look better, improve it. But if you look close, you see these pixels. Like this is a pixel right here. That's a pixel. That's a pixel. These are all just, the pixel can only be one color. And these single color pixels create the image. And what we're doing right now is going to make a grid. So I'm going to copy this and select it, move it up, and then fill it. Then select again, so I have more lines, move that up and fill it. Then keep doing that, and every time I do it, it adds more to it. And then soon enough, it would start filling out the whole thing. And where it comes to the end here, it's not important. Then oops, edit, undo. Edit, fill, edit. So see how far we are? We're about halfway. And then I just copy it and paste it back in, and then I can move it around. Oops. Looks like there's two lines right here. I guess it's just because of the way it looks. When I zoom out, and it's more than 100%, so the actual pixels don't really look right. So then I zoom in, get this over top of the other one, and then merge down. So now I have this over here. This is one layer, and it's almost complete, so I could probably just paste another one in and do it again. Just as long as I get this bottom filled in. Looks like it's 1 pixel off. Move it. And then merge down. I hit Control E, and that would merge the layers. Use Control E a lot. Okay, now I'm going to stretch the lines out so the edges are filled in. I'm just going to select this area right here and then stretch it. So now the lines should be all the way to the edge. Now copy it. Select all and copy it. Now do paste it back in and rotate it. Edit, free transform, and rotate 90 degrees. Now it's the same thing, except I'm stretching it the other way. So this is kind of a quick way to make a grid. And if you merge it down, you can save it and keep it so you can use it on other things. And if you're going to make the picture the exact same size, then you would just copy the grid and start a new picture. And that's what I'm going to do. That is select all, edit, copy, and then start a new file. I go with 100, edit, paste. So there's my grid. If I want the rulers to help, you can set the rulers in your preferences for ruler units and rulers. And if I set it the ruler for pixels, these are pixels, and click OK. Then when I use Control R, the ruler, this shows me exactly where the pixels are. Like this image is there's 479 right here, and the image size says 480. So this goes up to 480 because the line's right at 480. And it should be 640 tall. And we can do this, and we can say it's 638, then 639, and 640. Okay, what we're trying to do here is set up so that we could draw just small pictures, not the whole thing. And we find out where this one is. If we start with this block, we can do with these curls, or we can start here or anywhere we want. I'd say that I want to draw a line for the top of this hat. So this grid is not numbered or anything, but I can use this pixel ruler here, and it's at 2025, and this one is just past 90, and this one up here starts at this block is 300. So I've set the rulers and go to 300, and by low 93, 393, right about here. Okay, there's 300, and start here with this one. Okay, 300, 300. I could probably zoom out a little bit. Okay, we got 300, and there's the 90 is up there. So that's just before 95. That's this block right here. This block. So I'm going to start this, and then on this block here, I want to fade these lines so they're not so strong, so I can see through them. There. So now I can see the grid, and I can see through it. I pick a smaller pencil or brush, and right here it's 115. So down, that's right here, and it's like 113 or 310 or 1. This right here should have a line up here to show where I am, but I don't see it. So I'm just gonna start right here, go up and over, or I can go over here and make it easier to go down, because I start with this corner. That's this corner right here, and I'm on a new layer, so I got the brush set to 9%. Let's go with higher rate. We're just making the lines to draw it out, and then it goes down like this, and then right here it goes sort of straight down, and it goes to about halfway right in here. And then this part right here goes up. I'd say that this is like 60% up to 40%, and back down to less than 60%. So it's like 60% up and down. Up less than that, like this. And then we can follow that down. I was here, now I'm here, now I just swing over here. And this is around a little bit around 70%. So it's like this. And then this little hump right here, it goes like this, and then up right here, and down like this, and down towards the corner. Let me zoom out on this. There. So it goes down almost to that corner like this. And then the line right here for the eye, that's around 75%. And it goes up here. So it's up here. And then fades down this way. And then this part over here is right above this, like 1 pixel above. And this is right about here for the eye. And it goes up to here, a couple pixels down right there. And this is all shadow. So we go back up here to the top, go just right here, and it goes down farther on the next block. And then down to about halfway on the next block. Yeah. Get the eraser out and make them smaller. Raise that up. Okay. If we want to go farther, we zoom out. And this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 out. So we see 6 of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a little bit smaller. So that's might be close enough. Like that. So now we've done this, and we're going here and curve down. Might be a little higher right there than what I drew. Now this is like an inward angle, and then it curves like this. So I curve it in to about this far and come out curved here. So, oops. There. And then the bottom of the cap goes down to there. Yeah. kind of blurry in there, so it's not exactly right. And go here. And to here. Now we get the front of the face. Got this part right here. Let me fade the black lines, so I can make sure what I'm drawing is right. Is if I don't want to a lot of the lines be hidden behind the lines and don't know that it's there. Okay, so I didn't draw it. It looks like there's a little bit there, but oops, I drew it on the wrong one. There. That should be up here higher. Use the eraser to adjust it. And then the forehead comes down, and then just above here, then I guess this is hidden behind the line, and then the nose curves out. It's like curves here, and it's sort of flat, and it curves about here, so it's like this. And then the nostrils are here. And this part goes here. Then there's another line here. And it joins up with this eye, or it goes in there. And I guess it's sort of dark here for the eye. Try to make this dark here. And then move down. The mustache comes out right about here. And it's right like this. For the mouth is right here. The lower lip is here. You can barely see it. And it blends in with the beard. And this beard goes around up here like this, like that. And then draws a straight line from here to there. Yeah. Did it anew. And the curl. It's like curl here. And this line isn't all the way down there. So erase it. And it has like a padded beard here, but there's a line that runs down through here. So I make a line down through here. And then this curl goes up here, and the other curl starts here. And there's two curls in here, and the middle is more towards this side. And curl. And curl. And this, let's see, this one goes like this and loops around like this. This one's on top. Then this curl here. Oops. And then this is like a distance, little gap here. And this curl like right in there and up a little bit, fades in. But you can see this bottom part of this curl, and you can see the bottom here. This. And then this curl, let's see, that's this curl, that's that curl. That needs to be trimmed back a little bit. It don't go past the line. And this curl here shows a spot right here in the bottom part of the curl. Comes up to the middle, and then it's like that. And this comes right past the line a little bit. And then it goes down here and curves to here to the neck. Oh, wait a minute. That's a little bit too low. It's the next block up. Okay, right here. It curves up. Then the neck is, there's the nose and that part, just the end of that block, and that block to this block just moves over to there, and then there's a line starts here down to the corner, and the line here that goes over like this and kind of curves down right here. Got a small curve. Then it's the guy's back. It curves down, goes to here. And then this part with this is there's a curl in the beard, mustache, and it follows a pattern where it breaks up, and the pattern is like mostly up here. So this is tall. So to fix that, make it shorter. Let's see, image, free transform. There, make it shorter. And there. So this block, there's about halfway, so it's not quite halfway. It's like right there. And then it goes over, and curves, it curls again here. But don't go down too far. And the basic line is like from here, curves down. So curves down. Then you have all these lines going like this, That's all. That you don't have to draw exact, but it helps to get that same look. So I go step back, uh, step back, step back. Alternate Control Z. There. So this is his mouth. That's part of his chin. Then there's a sets of curls here. So it's like right here's curls. Well, actually, it's lower. It's from here to there. And then this goes across here and dips down close to here and up to there. Let's clean this up. And then do the top of these curls. It goes like this, somewhere in there, and clean that up. So I have a start of a curl here and a little piece of one there. Then there's 3 areas, like right there, and about right there for another center, and right there. Right there. So to make straight line, you hold Control Shift and draw straight lines. I can draw the line here because I'm going to follow that line. So Shift, click. That line right there is a little bit off. Need to go here to there, and then here to there. That's should be moved over a little bit. Like right here, and on the edge of that curl, and this here, this here. Then there's 2 close ones at it. Then finish drawing the lines. There's a line here. I guess it's all sort of going towards upward movement. So the top is bigger than the bottom. And this nose is flat, so don't come out this far. It has to stay within. There's half, and there's a light line at half. So this definitely like more like this. And let's zoom out, see what we have. See what we're getting here. We have it down to here. So it's a lot of work just working out all these different details, from taking this grid and using it. So that, and if you think of it, they're all just pixels. So they're in their own grid anyway. But when you're working, you want to, like, this is, I guess I'll just finish these curls and get started and filling it in, just so that it'd be a good example. So this curl comes here, and then this other curl is back here a little bit. And nope, that's another curl there. All these curls kind of get confusing. Which one am I working on? This is a bunch of little curls here. Don't know if it's important to get them right because it's blurry and a little rough. There's definitely a dark patch here. And this is all dark here. And I see that this part right here is like that. Goes past this a little bit, not too much. And the shading for this eye goes back. With the grid on here, can't really see where the eye is. Looks like it's right here, comes in. And the nostril is up here, about halfway. And I guess we'll get the rest of this beard here. Goes down to this corner. And down to about here. And it follows this across here. I'm holding the shift to make the straight line. And it's like that. And try that. There. Then you have curls on the beard. It's right through there. This curl, curl. Get this bottom part of the beard darker. And one right in here. And then one here. And one here. So let's draw this for his neck. And it comes down in here. And down to here. The top of his shoulder right here. It comes around here. Oops. And right there is like a gap. There's through here. This is all wide area. And this right here don't need to be that far out. There. So now we got our guidelines for what we have there. See, and we can remove these. Oops, wrong one. To draw what we see. I think I'll use a more color and then fade it. See, I could pick up the color here and copy it here, but I'm going to try to recreate the color by mixing. Because if it's not on the computer, then you have to make the color and try to match what you see. So I go with the softer brush. And then pick up the color, fade it a little bit. Add some of this. Mine's probably going to be more colorful. So now this is the only thing I'm doing right here. So I'm going to adjust the colors so that it matches more. Just image, adjust, color value. Well, actually, cancel that. I'm going to image, adjust, hues and saturation. Desaturate it. And darkness and hue. This right here, it's a real shadowy color, so I'm pretty much got these colors out, and it probably could use a little bit thinner through here, and that's too much. This would be the highlight color that's right here. This would be the shadowy color that's through here, and then I can fade it with this. See, my flow is still a little bit high, and I'm going to stick with it until I fill in the colors that I'm using. Then I can blend all I want. So now that I'm blending, I move to the colors smaller, get a bigger brush, and blend. Bring in some highlights. Maybe a touch more, just really low flow, so then I don't add too much. And then I picked up the color I'm using so that I can go with the higher flow and just fill it in. I think it could use a more yellow color. So I go with the lower flow, add the yellow. Too much of that, add a little bit of red. So I just pretty much adjust the color until I get what I want, or what I see, because that's what I want. So I'm not doing it real rough like this. Now this color right here, that's more like this color. Now I'm starting to fill in, trying to get this color. It's a little bit more red and lighter. And over here it's brighter. Let's see, that's got a little bit of yellow in it. And some brighter yellow here, and lower the flow. And almost a little bit of red. There, like that. And I see it needs to be more red, but I'm going to have to do this in a really low flow with a bigger brush. There. Adjust it. Add some more white. Make it lighter. A little yellow. So now I can go with more flow. Go with the dark color right here because it's black through there. And go with a smaller brush. Give it more detail. Just brushing in this color that's beside it. And that color to mix with it. Now I go a little bit lower, keep the same rate, try to trim this out in a shade like this shade right here. Too dark or too brown. This should be darker in the front. I can see the back of it is needing to be darker right here. So I'm using a really low flow to adjust it. That way I can spread it out, use bigger brushes, fill in more area, darken it. So that's a little bit closer. And see what we got. Looks about the same. I guess that's, well, that's sort of like what we're going for, is try to come up with something that's just about the same. And then we need these colors here filled in with the medium color. And I suppose that this is sort of a medium color. I could keep these lines on top, so then, but then I can't see the lines that I'm making. So it don't matter if I cover them over, because if I need to, I just go like this. See if I'm following the lines the right way, or go this way and put these lines on top. And turn these lines on. See that the hat went down a little bit. So get back to this one. Follow this line to where it gets here. That's only at 2%, so go there. Dark color there. It's not all that dark. If I want to add in more like this roughness stuff, I can go with the smaller brush, or a little more flow in a smaller brush, and just add it like this, and pick the darker color and rough it in like this. Oops. Undo brush. Goes a lower flow. So now we have something that looks a little rougher. Let's see what it looks like without the lines. Ooh, wrong line. This could be a little bit lighter. And just scribble, get the roughness. I think some of this needs to be darker. And some of it needs to be a little bit of green in there. And add in some colors. Go with a small brush again, and actually smaller than that. Pick up some dark colors. Go with lower flow. Smaller brush. There. Need a little more flow than that. So if it looks like it's got too much one, you add another. Just go with a different color. Need some green. Just shows a little more green in it. Just give it the shade it needs. See, it's a little rough. Of course, this probably doesn't need to be that dark, and we can fix that. it looks like there's streaks where water was running down. So I guess if you want to make it look right, you want to make streaks. Like take this here and stretch it. And you got streaks. And I want to get about the shade here. Raise it up. And then use a smaller brush. Add some highlights in it. This green. These are all high flow. Edit. Step back. Get a smaller, lower flow so I don't change too much. Anyway, this part is the main part, the character. And I think I need to adjust the darkness of the front. The smaller flow. Let's make this darker here. Not too dark. Let's see. That looks a little bit too dark. So pick up some color to blend it in. That should be better. It's a little lighter. So now we want it's easier to work with the color that's sort of like a medium. Like this color here might be like a medium, where you got highlights and stuff in it. Then I can brush in the darker colors. So go with, that's probably too much for this area. And it's 19, so try this. Now we can zoom in and try to draw what we see. And we got the guidelines and everything still there so we can follow it. And do this area here. Use a smaller brush. It probably helped to zoom in so I can see it better. Guess my colors are a little bit different. That's too big. I think this line needs to come down. And this should be lighter through here. It's dark right here. See, this is this one. This is the next one. And then go like this. Oh, trying to type in two, or try to do two. Okay, that's a brighter color. So I get this color and try to make it brighter. Add a little bit of yellow in there, make it brighter. So I'm basically trying to just make it look exactly the way I see it. And if it looks pale there, I just make it pale. It's like the whole forehead is pale. But it does look like this is dropping down a little bit too far here. Looks like it needs space here, and that is a little bit too high. Either that or I'm looking at it in a different size. So I guess I need to turn on the grid. Let's see. I guess I can pick up this color here and that'll be darker. This darkness through here. And then a yellowish green through here. And almost this shade. Pick up this black right here and go with that. A little bit of red. Yeah, wrong button. So we're getting it kind of close there. And I assume that just showing basically how you get it is more help than not having any at all, because it sort of like explains how you get these. Edit, undo brush. I'm trying to add a little bit of red here. Anyway, this is showing you how you can get this picture that you see on your own version of it. You can do any size you want, and all you have to do with the grid, when you want it larger, you just make a larger grid. Increase the flow. So let's get this to that scale. Get this to zoom out to that scale. So you can see there's still some work due to, like up here, it don't need to be that dark for the top of the eye. But it's just little details that you use what you see to try to copy it, like this. See, that looks more like this. And actually there's like a drop off. So you want it needs to be a darker color here. And then there's a light patch right here. Right there. And this should be a little more red. Not that much red. There's a highlight here. Wrong button. Right here. So this is how you pretty much, you can see this is looking a lot like it, and if this roughness is too rough, you can smooth it out with the airbrush. And I guess this is enough to show you how to get there. Just use these graph lines to get it. Now, if you're going to do like this section right here, just this section here, right there. If you're only going to do this part, you just look at how many blocks there are. Like there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9. Actually, let's count for the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then move out here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Get to that hat. 17, 18, 19. About 20. So you got 20 blocks. If you're only going to use 20 blocks, you just make the next size you want 20 blocks, and you can redo the grid so that it's single lines, because if you stretch it out, it's going to look like blurry lines. It's going to take up more space. Not going to be as accurate. So you make 20 blocks across and so many blocks high is how many block the grid. So you're trying to match the grid, but you're trying to do it on a larger scale. I guess you could probably kind of like copy the grid. See, here's the grid, and I just copy it. Then start a new file. 100. Edit, paste the grid in. Then go with the larger image or larger scale. Do like 2 times larger, twice as large. That way you can add more detail in it that doesn't really exist. And so change this to a 2. And now you got a bigger grid, except the lines takes up more space. See? You can probably select the lines without selecting everything, but it's kind of hard not to. So this is like taking up 2 blocks wide and then blurred out some. So you can use it and start a new one and start a new layer. Then I'm making this line right here. Let's do it at the first numbers. Like the 28, not the 29. I'm picking the first side. And then I pick this first side right here. Like 64. I pick that. So now I just pick a color, black, edit, fill, okay, and move it down. Pick the first one, edit, fill, okay, then select all of them and zoom out. And you get more grid that way. So that's the top grid. So I hold shift when I move. I just grab this, hold shift down, and it dropped down one when I let go. Edit, fill, okay. And select more. Now everything I did selected, and I move it down. Huh. That was weird. Let's see. Select. I think I'll zoom out and copy it and paste. Edit, undo, edit, paste. Can't really see with it here, so this is the grid there. So I want to make that really light. That way I can see where I'm at. And edit, undo, move. Get this one that I copied and pasted back in there. Oh, I'll just match it up and don't need this. And merge down and select all, copy, paste, and merge and move it down. Now, yeah, move it. Don't know why it went down there. Okay, so that looks like it's lined up. I nudged it with the arrow key and merged down. So now it's one. See these gaps in the screen? It's because the screen has a resolution too. Even though these look like there's lines and not lines, they're all just lines. It's just that some of the lines aren't at the right spot where the grid, the pixels and the grid on the screen match up. At 100%, you can match up better. So this would be like making the, this is for copying and making a grid that's twice the size. So I'll make a whole new grid, and that line looks like it's a little bit too wide, so it wasn't merged, didn't merge down. Now that it matches, and I guess I can copy and paste here because it'll match. Paste. I think it's just long enough to go to all the way to the bottom. Merge down and see if it does. Looks like it does to me. So we got the full grid of that area that we want, that I selected, and we can make sure that we get wide is enough, but it looks like it's all the way to the edge. Now just select all, edit, copy, edit, paste, then rotate 90 degrees, and this is in the middle. Edit, free transform, bring it down to the edge. Now we have another grid that's twice the size. On a canvas twice the size. So if I copy what I did here, it'd work out if I put it in the right spot, and let's see, paste, enlarge it, see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, I think I'll move this to where I make this twice as large. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I want to bring it down to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. Hold shift so it increases the right. So that should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. So that's twice the size. So this is making this twice the size as original. And if I remember right, this goes, let's see, that's the top part, and this is about like that. Might be back one more. So and I cut the top down, so I move it up. Right there. And move down a little bit. So now this is just a bigger version, so you have more pixels to work with. You can see, you can add more detail than what this one has. So I guess that's enough for now. I'm not saving this. Basically, this is how you use what you see, but you put a grid on it, and this helps you measure. Like if your eyes, without having anything to measure with, you have the screen. You have pixels, you have the screen. Like you can see this right here, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pixels right through here. So that's a grid. And then the sense of measuring is like this guy's hat is a little bigger than his head. I mean, bigger. His hair is bigger than his cap. But if you actually measure this right here, this part of the cap, it's about the same as this, except smaller. And I'm not trying to move anything. See? Smaller. This area is smaller. So you measure this, sees this gap between here on the height of these lines. This is taller than this. So if I move it up here, it's a little bit taller. And down here, it's shorter. Like have another 3/4 like that. And see, that's only like 3/4 the size of this one. And this is a little bit smaller than this one. So you measure, see, look, like the lion's eye right there. You just find something to compare it with that you already have. Like this whole area right here, the whole area of his eye is about the size of the cat's eye. See? Just that the cat's eye is bigger, and he's got space around his eye from his eyebrow around. That's about the size of this cat's eye. All that space. So it's about the same. And this, so when you compare, you measure things, and it's not as accurate as the graph. But as you get better, you can go with a bigger graph. Let me start a new layer. Do stroke. And 1 pixel. Okay, so if you're working with the graph, and as you get better, you can go with boxes this size. Draw everything in this one, this block, have all the blocks on here. Okay. So the graph can be different sizes, whatever size you're used to. And as you get better, you just use bigger blocks until the biggest block is the frame. This would be the biggest block, but it's not square. Like you want to go with square blocks, and then but this isn't square. So you spend all your time improving and learning to use these blocks to get better, and you end up with a block that's not square. Then you have to adjust for it because you're basically, that's just the last block, and you're filling in, and you still go by percentage to measure and everything with your eyes. It probably seemed like it'd be like a long time to get away from graphs, but you can, but it's not that important since you still have the grid is the pixels. The pixels are blocks, and you can just zoom in and copy each single block. Same color of the block, same thing. It's like another grid, just smaller. And it can be hard to draw lines. And then this right here, this with the rulers set up, you can select guidelines, and the guidelines can pick up from the ruler and do all kinds of guidelines to set up your grid. See? And you're just following the guidelines or using the guidelines for lines, except they're not accurate. And when you try to draw, they could be stuck to the guideline. Anyway, so you don't need guidelines. I'm not saving this. This is just an example. And you see what I did so far. And you can just keep following it until you complete the whole thing. One block at a time. So that's how it works.